Yay! Good morning, District 115, District 115 Toastmasters. Pardon me, I'm getting all choked up already, Phyllis. Welcome back to another wonderful edition. 115 Toastmasters. Pardon me, I'm getting choked up already, Phyllis. I'm hearing myself. Back to another wonderful edition. 115 Toastmasters. Pardon
Well,
me.
wait 1 minute till I find it. I have to turn off the sound for this thing. Well, wait 1 minute till I find it. I have to turn off the sound for this thing. Till I find it, I have to turn off the sound for this thing. This is terrible. Till I find it, I have to turn off the sound for this thing. This is terrible. Till I find it, I have to turn off the sound for this thing. This is terrible. There we go. I think I have it now. I have to remember to do that. If I leave that page up, I can see the replies that anybody sends us. But if
I mean, among many reasons, you are co-host. That's a big one. Because I'm like, okay, all right. Now, I mean, we love hearing ourselves talk. I know, well, I love hearing myself talk, but that's a little bit much. Anyways, good morning, District 115 Toastmasters once again. My name is Scott. I'm your Club Growth Director. Whatever I am. I help you form new clubs and help you with membership. Let's put it that way.
all right.
Alongside is my more than capable co-host and more technically savvy than I am on Zoom, obviously, the wonderful former past district director, distinguished Toastmaster Phyllis Tribby, joining us once again.
Good morning, Scott. And if I'm ahead of you on technology, it's got to be just a little.
Well, you know, you figured out the audio, so there you go. I'll figure that out by next June. You know, that's my ongoing joke. So
Well, it's good to have a goal.
It always is, you know. We talk all about goals and Toastmasters, and mine is going to be to learn this Zoom thingy doodle, whatever it is. Anyways, we're going to talk about the international convention this morning that I was very privileged to attend, obviously last week in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. And for those of you who are new to our wonderful organization, especially not necessarily new, but the area and division directors who might be tuning in, the trio, the three people on the trio, myself, Ken Richardson, and Gene Williams, we all went in early last week, actually flew in on Sunday, and we had two meetings that were district officer training specifically for the trio. And we learned a lot about how to help the district grow, how to develop new clubs, how to help clubs that are lower in membership to increase membership. Of course, Ken learned about program quality and improving trainings and all those kinds of things. And then Jean was in district director training and learned all about what her role really encompassed and how to excel at it. Now, Phyllis, I have a funny story for you about this whole thing and for everybody listening. Apparently, at one of the district director meetings, the trainings, one of the big issues that was identified was that when the folks who are now district directors were club growth directors, which is what my role is this year, many times they didn't always feel part of the team right away. And Gene and I met up outside the lobby of the main ballroom where one of the general sessions was going on. And Jean is going to hear this. She listens to Wake Up with Toastmasters all the time and also hosts it. And it was just funny. She said, now I want you to know, Scott, that you're a valued member of this team. And if you need reassurance of that, you just ask us anytime you want to. and do you need a hug? I mean, anything like that. And I said, Gene, we're good. I've never not felt part of the team. You and Ken have gone out of your way to make sure that that was the case, but I appreciate the sentiment. Apparently it's a thing. So but it's just a funny story. And now in terms of what did I learn, because heck, this is our day to host the show. What I learned was that there's a process involved to not only starting new clubs, but also to helping existing clubs to increase their membership. And we had a whole session on this and took a lot of notes and so forth. And in terms of where we are in the district, we have chartered a couple of new clubs since the beginning. I think they came under the old, quote unquote, old Toastmasters year of 2021, 2022, Epic and Hunters. Those are the two clubs that came online. We have the Venetian possibly, very likely coming on board with at least one club. They want to start with one club. And we have been told, or Ken has been told, that they are looking at several clubs if the one club flourishes and is successful. So that's really exciting news. And but quite frankly, we're looking at clubs that are lower in membership. We'd like to help them get up to 12 members if we possibly can, because that's more people getting through pathways, and that's more people achieving the goals that they have that they had set for themselves when they became Toastmasters. And that's really what we're all about.
Makes it more fun.
Oh my goodness, yes. It doesn't make it feel like a second job, and that's what we want to avoid. We don't want it to feel like, oh my gosh, I got to do this again and yada yada yada. It needs to be fun. It needs to be an adventure. It needs to be an area where growth is occurring, and the way you get there is by having members. And that way, if somebody doesn't want to fill a role one week or one meeting, they don't have to. If they really, really want to give a speech, they can do it. And it spreads out the workload, and it spreads out the fun, which is, hey,
yeah,
it needs to be fun. But now, Phyllis, you are a past district director, distinguished Toastmaster. So you've obviously been to international conventions. You've obviously, I assume, have been to the training that they offer, the trio. And what's your recollection of maybe some of the best training you had there in any role you filled on the trio?
Well, I'd say growth director was not my forte, marketing. Mm-hmm. I'm not really a salesperson. Mm-hmm. And at the training, I actually received information on how to do a startup meeting and what to go through. And I actually got cards that one card right after another, so you know how the meeting is supposed to continue. And I think that was one of the best things that they gave to me. Although I had been in, when we called it demo, now we call it startup, many times, I hadn't led those. And so as the club growth director, I was in charge of leading the group and took on the role of Toastmaster. And I was just real happy with my set of cards. So I knew exactly how the flow of the meeting should go. And of course, I had people to fill all the roles. But that, I think, was the best thing that they gave to me. Sometimes people that are in control, like our trainers, do not realize what we need. And that was something that maybe they thought, you're growth director, you've been to many demos. Well, I didn't go to many demos. Did I know how to lead one and be sure that I had everything covered? Yes. So by the time I got to January and February, I was able to stand up and tell people that Toastmasters only costs one latte from Starbucks a month. If you'll give up one Starbucks latte, you can join Toastmasters and improve your life. So I think a lot of times it's, knowing what the new growth directors need to be sure that everything goes according to plan.
Right.
My forte was more of organizational, putting together things as the program quality director. I understood that. I got previous information and I went right at it. But the growth director, I needed help.
Mm-hmm. And I agree. I totally agree. Well, the bottom line is you don't know what you don't know.
There's
and I came into this not only new to the role, but new to the district. And I'm learning very fast. But the bottom line is when you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to it's really hard to set deadlines, and it's hard to get stuff done when you're not sure what that stuff needs to be.
And
so
questions.
Oh my goodness.
Are there any questions? Well, if you don't know what you don't know, how do you have questions?
I don't know what questions I'm supposed to have.
There you go.
So I just don't say anything, and it's interesting you bring that up. It's a great segue to one of the trio meetings that we had recently where, okay, Scott, your turn. And I'm okay. What am I supposed to be saying right now? And it was about the budget, which the district will vote on in short order. And once I was told what I was to be reporting on, it was simple, but I didn't know. So that's probably the club growth is obviously the position with the biggest learning curve, because it's a unique environment. The trio is a unique environment. Now, don't get me wrong, I am enjoying the heck out of it, and I would encourage anybody, hint, coming up next year to think about club growth director, because we're going to be looking for somebody to fill this seat right here. Not this seat on Wake Up with Toastmasters, but my seat with the trio.
Just wanted immediate opening.
Immediate opening. It's open now, and we've barely begun the new year. I will tell you that it is growth on steroids, if I can use such a phrase. You are going to learn a ton about yourself, more than you thought, and you're going to learn a lot about the bigger Toastmasters organization. I've already learned way more than I thought I would about how it's structured beyond the district level. And by the way, you get all kinds of these. These are business cards that, there's a whole stack of these suckers that I picked up in Nashville from other Toastmasters. And I think, honestly, Phyllis, one of among many benefits of an international convention, beyond the training, beyond the recognition, you're going to meet Toastmasters from literally all over the world. And the world champion this year, Toastmasters has already published it. I think it's been published by various people, various members of the district on their Facebook pages. The world champion in public speaking is a gentleman named Cyril, Cyril, who hails from Zimbabwe and now lives in Poland. And tremendous speaker. I'm sure they're going to put his speech up on the TI website in short order. And was a real pleasure to watch him in the semifinal. And he was victorious in the championship round. So he is our new world champion and very deserving of it. So with the speech contests that we have in the spring, obviously it culminates immediately at the district level. And then if they do it the same way next year that they did it this past year, there will be a regional evaluation. I believe it's all recorded. And there's a panel of very seasoned Toastmasters that judge that. And then I think 32 people make it to the semifinal round, 2 per region. And then 8 go to the championship round, and they are giving their speech in front of the entire convention, which this year, this is another change, by the way. Well, not change, but just adjustment. There were, I believe, 700 people on site in Nashville. There were another 1,400 or so that joined us online via the stream, which is, I think, obviously it's a sign of the times. It's where we are. But normally there would be 2,000 or so people live in the main ballroom. So
I thought it was
really cool.
interesting that it was hybrid.
Yes.
Since International sent the word to district that we had to be either hybrid or we had to be in person. We could not be both.
Correct.
So I'm looking for TI to come forth with information on how to run a hybrid contest. I think that will be one of their big educationals this year. If they're going to do it, then they're going to have to, I think, allow the districts and let us do that, since we have clubs with members around the world. And the district, I'm sure, got a lot of flack about their international members not being able to perform in a contest. So I'm looking that will be happening. We will be seeing how to do hybrid contests.
And you bring up a wonderful point, as you always do, and that is my expectation and likely the expectation of Ken and Jean, that we get training on how this is to be done, which is going to be very important next spring when it's obviously contest time. So be looking for that. And when we know, you will know, since we will announce it. But
a training session.
Yes, indeed. We don't have enough of those.
Well, that Saturday, second Saturday of the month is a great place, especially for new members, to go and learn about Toastmasters orientation and originality there, all about Toastmasters. But the Pathway program, anybody that's new to Toastmasters needs to go there. So I'm sure Ken will put it in there, and he'll probably put it into the district leadership program, but we're all going to know how to do it.
Indeed, we will. Now, just as a little additional information about the convention, lest anybody believe that it's all business meetings and things of that nature, we do in Toastmasters attempt to try to have fun. And on Saturday night, there's a large banquet and a dinner dance, and that usually goes to about midnight, I think. And chance to have some fun and make friends that you haven't made before, and just celebrate the end of the year. So it's a really great ending to what's essentially 3 or 4 day conference. So, but again, for the district, for the trio that's elected every year, we go in early and have 2 full days of training. Now, I'm gonna bribe people even more to run for club growth. It's been announced, so I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. Next year's conference, I've already told Phyllis, get ready, everybody. You ready? Okay. If you are elected to club growth director, please run. You will get to go to the Bahamas and get trained for 2 days next to the beach, very likely. Not on the beach, of course, but in the hotel.
Well, you can't tell. Might be on the beach.
It could be on the beach, sure.
It will be within eyesight of the beach.
It will definitely be within eyesight of the beach. There is no question about that. So next year's convention will be in Nassau, the Bahamas. So Ken and I are obviously going in our new roles. and whoever
Maybe I
decides to
should
run
run
for-
again. I didn't get to go to Sydney. That was my place. So maybe I should run again, see if I can get elected.
I would be all for your candidacy. All for your candidacy, Phyllis. No doubt about it. So there's the ethical bribe. You get to go to the Bahamas, and again, it's just a wonderful experience. I was actually at the last conference that was hosted here in Las Vegas in 2015. I was still living in New York State. Kindly don't hold that against me, anybody out there. I moved out to Vegas here in 2016, about 6 years ago, but flew out with a friend of mine to the convention at Caesars, and it was equally as fun and such. So they really are worth it. And please don't take this to mean that you have to be an officer to go or anything like that. You don't. We are all built around the member. We're all members. We start at the member level, all of that. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not an officer, so it really wouldn't be for me. That is absolutely not true. There's educational tracks, there's educational sessions that will benefit anybody. So don't feel like if I'm not an officer, it's really not for me. That's not true. It is really for any Toastmaster. You will gain a lot from attending, and you'll meet a lot of people and come home with 2 pockets full of business cards to continue the conversation with at some point. So
I have 2 friends in California, sisters, and this is their vacation every
Sure.
year. They go to the international convention. I also have a friend that's down in Florida, and this is her vacation. So plan it out. They think that it's well worth using their vacation time to come to the international convention. We do have Jennifer online and sending us messages, and she says that was a good way to bribe people. Tell them they can go to the Bahamas if they're elected. So let's get some volunteers out there.
yes,
An assistant going now. You learn the job.
yes. So yes, Jennifer, you're more than capable. So let's see your candidacy, coming up
Oh,
next
there
spring.
you go, Jennifer, all of a sudden
You're being drafted. All right. I'm teasing, obviously. Anybody who would like to be considered for club growth, obviously you're welcome to submit your application at the appropriate time next spring and such. So, but we do need somebody to fill the job. There is no doubt, because I'm moving up to Ken's job, and Ken will be district director come July 1st next year. So anyways, Phyllis, you want to add anything about your convention experience or what have you? We're coming to the bottom of the hour.
I kind of would like to go back to this convention
Sure.
about the proposals that were passed. And one of those proposals actually has to do with the district. And we're all used to getting our proxies together to vote at the district. And now those have been eliminated.
Correct.
And when I was talking to my committee for the operations manual, our District 115 operations manual, which has information about proxies in it and needs to be changed because the bylaws are changed, they wanted to fight it out right there. And I said, it's too late. Yeah, if you didn't like this, you should have really sent this along with Jean and told her you didn't like this proposal. So that's one of the things that has passed. There will no longer be any proxies, that the president and VP of education carry the 2 votes for the club, and either one of them may enter both votes, or they may each enter one. So it'll be a little different when we get ready for our district information. I think it's the 24th. We're having a district meeting.
September 24th. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah. It's called the council meeting. So,
yes.
The president and VP of education will be invited to that meeting. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I think anybody can go to it
Anybody can attend, absolutely.
and see what's going on. But those are the two votes. And I just wanted people to understand that and not, get irritated, because Ken and I have gone over the proposals, I think at least twice,
Mhm.
and they are available. And, it's kind of too late to talk about it. We
Yeah,
needed to do it a long time back. Not that it probably would have done any good. Once the proposal is out there, it's more than likely going to pass.
Mhm.
But we could have brought it up, could have had some discussion about it before.
Yeah, we could have and probably should have, and that's something that we'll look into for next year. But I can tell you that almost without exception, there was one exception that, okay, uh, the proposals passed with nearly unanimous consent.
Yeah,
There was one that had a bit of a vote spread between yes and no, but for the most part, they passed nearly unanimously. So they are what they are, and off we go.
and they go into effect immediately. So if
Yes.
anybody was wondering when they go into effect, it's like if they pass, it's immediate.
Yes, it is indeed. Absolutely. So any final words for us, Phyllis, before we
Well,
close it up for today?
coming on to the last Saturday of the month, which is game night, 6
Mhm.
o'clock. So come and see what fantastic games Jean and her crew have put together for us. They're always interesting, and you wonder how they come up with these ideas.
Yes, indeed. All right, gang. Hope you enjoyed this little primer on convention. Nassau, the Bahamas, next August. Put it on your calendar. And hopefully we'll see some of you there. It's going to be mentioned many more times than just now. Don't worry about that. And the trio will go for training, and somebody's got to take my role. So with that, fellas, I think we can call it a Thursday morning, and I wish you the best and everybody else in District 115.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.